Welcome. This is CJ Peterson, good friend of mine. We're in a couple different writers groups together. But today, as part of the Nonfiction Authors Association, we're doing a live Facebook streaming. CJ is going to tell us a little bit about herself today and her journey as an author. But more importantly, the purpose of today is to talk about podcasts, which she has some. So we're doing a live stream on Facebook. On my accounts, if you look up Rebel Laughlin on Facebook, you should be able to find it live. I was there just a second ago to make sure it was working. And now we're live on Zoom. Not live, we're recording on Zoom, and I will make this available later for the Houston chapter of the Nonfiction Authors Association, and also make it available on public. And also, CJ is going to have a copy of it so she can distribute it to her world. So, CJ, why don't you tell us about how long you've been an author?
Well, I've been I've been a published author since 2012. I've been a writer pretty much all my life. There's kind of a difference between the two.
What is your difference between being a writer and being an author?
Well, being an author is published.
Okay.
Being a writer, once you write, you are a writer.
Okay.
And I have 13 novels out, and I have a children's book out, and I'm in 2 anthologies. The beauty of the novels is there's the Grace Restored series, which is 5 books. There's the Holy Flame trilogy, which is obviously 3. Then there's a standalone of Strength from Within. Those are all going on at the same time. And then the 20-year jump is the kids from all of those into the Divine Legacy series. So my characters actually cross over storylines. So you kind of get to know another part of a character's story in a different series.
Okay, this is all sci-fi, or what kind of genre are we in?
No, this one is Christian fiction, a little paranormal, a little kind of spiritual. It's where the spiritual realm crosses into the physical. So where there's dark, there's light, there's angels, there's demons. In this series, the underlying group through all of them is Angel, which is available to nurture God's eternal love. They get their assignment from Michael the Archangel, who ships them out in the world to help people. And so, like I said, they kind of cross over storylines. The first 3 ones that I mentioned are going at the same time, and then the 20-year jump is the Divine Legacy being passed on to the next generation, which, college age kids taking over something that important creates all sorts of havoc all over the world.
How did you think up this kind of stuff? I mean, obviously there's something that said, hey, I want to not only write about it, I want to publish, and I want to share this kind of stuff with the world. How did you come up with these ideas?
Well, I'm a Christian. Unapologetically a Christian. And so when I write from my core. I write from my heart. There are usually 2 types of writers. There's planners or pantsers. I'm a pantser. I literally sit down, pray, and type. And the only thing I keep is a running list of characters. And just God and I have this thing going where I write as long as I can write, and then I'll put it up. Then I'll read the last chapter, and I'll just keep on writing. I'm currently working on I'm starting my own genre, Christian fiction sci-fi trilogy.
So pretty similar to being country and rock and roll, right?
Pretty much, why not?
Okay, well, how do you market your books?
Well, I'm all over social medias. For the most part, my handle is at authoress_CJ, AUTHORESS_CJ. However, I don't just write. For those who can see it behind me, I'm an author, blogger, podcaster, and publisher. In 2013, I went to an indie author day, and the worst thing someone told me was they didn't hear about me until that day, but they bought all my books that day. And so I'm like, I'm going to make it my mission to make sure that it's hard to not find me. And so the author, I have 13 books, like I said, 13 novels, a children's book. I'm in 2 different anthologies, which the beauty of an anthology is all the authors within that book share your stuff with their community and vice versa. So again, that's exposure. With the books, the novels, I cross promote. A portion of the proceeds from the novels go to different charities. So I spread word about that charity as well, and they spread word about my books. Mm-hmm. I'm a blogger. We have 5-acre farm we take from ground zero to a fully functioning, self-sustaining farm. I take our joys, our successes, our mistakes, our epic failures, and I pull life lessons from them, and I also apply them to, our spiritual walk.
Mhm.
And so that's another avenue to get stuff out. I'm a podcaster. The Journey is Real podcast, where we talk to real people with real passions who share a real portion of their hearts. And I have met a myriad of wonderful and fascinating people. And my only rule is that you got to be real. And that's the basic, honest, hardcore bottom line premise of the show. And I'm a publisher with my sister. We own Texas Sisters Press. So
I'll come back in a moment to the publishing, but podcasting is what the primary purpose today is. And so authors, if they have a real story, a real journey, then they would be a potential interviewee for your podcast.
actually, anybody can. Um, Honestly, it's not just open to authors. I have a vast author network. So I do have one rule for authors: your passion cannot be writing. That's it. And people are kind of like, but that is my passion. I said, no, there has to be something else in your life that you're passionate about. We will talk about your books. Trust me, I'm an author. I will get it around to those. But something other than that, for example, Mike Coas did UTV racing. Um, Lydia Mann did Camp TV, where she goes to different camps and does videography with them. Um, Authors have so many other interests. And when somebody can connect with an author on another level other than writing, that makes them more actually loyal to the author itself, because they've made a viable connection to them.
Okay, makes a lot of sense, especially in keeping with the journey is real.
Mhm.
That whole part of the focus of what you write about, you talk about, you preach. That's super important to people, because sometimes we don't know what's real and what isn't. But
Exactly. And
but
basically, when I sit down with them, it's about 20, 25 minutes for the actual interview itself. And I tell them, look, I'm going to be your BFF for the next 20, 25 minutes. We're going to talk. We're going to share about your passion. We're just going to have a conversation. And I do send a guide sheet, which is very sparse because I like to leave room for rabbit trails. And we're going to be real. I put it up how it's recorded unless there's an internet glitch. That's the only reason I will edit it. Otherwise, how it's recorded is how it goes up. And I tell people, you know what? Mistakes are going to happen. I have mispronounced my own name. There was one gentleman who had two first names for his names, and I called him by his last name. He goes, well, you can call me that, but you can call me by my first name too. And so we kind of made a joke of it. There's times like today, I couldn't get the word literally out of my mouth. I did it about 3 or 4 times, but that's how it's going to go up, because social media puts always forth this polished rainbows, unicorns, roses type face. And I wanted real people with real passions who are sharing the real part of their heart. And that's the premise behind The Journey is Real. Everybody has it. It lets people know that it gives people a voice that is often shut down in social media today. And we knock down so many walls. It's so much fun. I love doing that. If there's a social premise you want to knock down, get a hold of me. We'll take it down. The other thing I like to do is let people know that they're not alone, and whatever their journey is and whatever there's became of it. And that's the beauty behind The Journey is Real.
okay. So Billy Joe Jim Bob hasn't contacted you yet because you don't have a 4-person first name.
No, not yet. But the first thing I will ask you is, I get some of these, sometimes I get these long dissertations, and sometimes I get like these 2-word sentences. And I said, the journey is real, is about your passion. I need to know in 2 sentences, what is your passion? And it cannot be writing if you're an author.
Okay. Okay. Well, since most of this is going to our author group, how do they get in touch to do a podcast with you?
Easy peasy. You go to cjpetersonwrites.com, or you can email me at cjpetersonwrites@yahoo.com. That's cjpetersonwrites@yahoo.com.
So it's almost like your website, except instead of .com, it's at yahoo.com. Okay.
Yeah, I try to keep everything as simple as possible. All of my social medias are authoress_CJ. If it has to do specifically with the website or my email, it has to do with CJ Peterson Writes.
I don't remember the CJP on your slides. I think the last time we talked, is that something new, a little logo or something?
Yeah, I realized while I was being interviewed by Arlene Gale that she goes, "You've been doing this for almost a decade." And I'm just like, holy cow. Yes, I have, number one. And number two, I haven't changed anything. So this year I went through a complete rebranding and redesign of everything. And I do all the graphics myself. And so the CJP that's on the slide is actually my new logo.
Okay, fantastic. You mentioned earlier you're publishing with your sister. Why don't you go ahead and wrap up the show today? We've been on for about 10 minutes or so. Why don't you go ahead and we'll wrap up today. You told everybody CJ Peterson Writes is the way to get in touch with you and what you do. And I think you cover that eloquently. Not
Thank you.
literally, but eloquently. But
Literally.
But why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about your publishing company because we have authors here, they want to have options. So let's go ahead and cover a little bit about that, and then we'll go ahead and conclude.
Perfect. Well, my sister and I started Texas Sisters Press in 2019. We started off initially to publish our own books, but the other reason we started the publishing company is a lot of times there are a lot of companies out there that want to take advantage of authors. Tate is one that's in particular with friends of ours. We had many friends who went through Tate and that whole mess up. And we wanted to start a publishing company where all of the authors keep copyrights over everything except for the barcode, because the ISBN is attached to the publishing company. So if you choose to leave, it's all yours. We also wanted something that was affordable because, what, face it, we're authors. We don't make a lot of money. So we've cut it down as far as we possibly can. We're a hybrid press. So you pay up front and we help, get you all together and put everything together. It has to come to us fully edited. If you don't have an editor, don't stress. We have a list of editors that you can welcome to jump off of. What happens when someone contacts us about a book? We set up a Zoom meeting because every author is different. We want to know where you are, what you're looking for, what you're wanting to publish, and what's your goals, and if we can help you. If we can't help you, we try to find somebody who can. When we take certain authors, we don't take everybody. Even if you are one of our authors and you want to publish a book that's a little over our line, we will send you somewhere else. We have a line. The line is, we jokingly say, our mom passed away January 27th. And we jokingly say, if our 88-year-old mom can read it and not blush, we're good. Mm-hmm. And that's our line. And so we keep that line. And we take them through, but we take them under our wings as well. We don't just put their book up and forget about it. We take them through a marketing we give them 10 hours free Zoom. 15 minutes is the cover reveal. 1 hour is the book launch. And then we do 6 hours or 6.5 hours where I sit down with you and we do marketing and branding so that the author has a platform to jump off of once their book is published, and they're able to do social media a whole lot easier because social media is a monster. And people who jump in there are just like, I'm drowning. I don't know where to go. So A, it gives you a life preserver. And B, I teach you to navigate the waters a whole lot more smoothly and a lot easier once we get everything set up to streamline.
Yeah, I publish most things myself for my company. However, I don't do children's books, but I know that you all do. And yep. So from that perspective, I've talked to two people in the last probably 3 weeks, first part of the month.
Oh yeah, send them our way.
Yeah, I have somebody who does that. They're still in the developmental stage, but they want to also do children. So I said, I don't do children's books, but I know somebody who does.
Yeah, and we will try to contact you. We have a list of illustrators that we have used. It gives you a place to start to look. We have a list of editors that either we've used or somebody we know has used. So it gives you a place to start. We get no kickbacks. It just lets somebody somewhere to start. And we explain kind of the process and how it looks and where it goes. When Texas Sisters Press also does something that's kind of cool. Our first year last year, we did a Christmas anthology, a holiday anthology. Our only requirement is it had to have a holiday theme and between 3,500 and 7,500 words. That was it. And the beauty of the anthology is I know for a fact, was one author who was never published before. And then there are some authors who have like a ton of books under their belt. So the eclectic mix of the different type of authors, first of all, gives you such a unique batch of stories, because every author is different in their writing, but they're also different in genres. So it gives you a batch of stories, but it also helps give exposure to everybody that's within those books. So we plan on doing one again this year. Lydia and I are going to be talking short stories to the authorology group in July as well.
Well, you know, you kind of piqued my interest because I publish myself, obviously. Well, not obviously, but people who know me know that I also do that. But I was I was focused on doing podcasting as part of our NFAA Houston chapter. But I'm thinking maybe we also need to do some Zoom meetings on publishing services because that's important to us as authors. We want to know what we actually have around there that can help us. And so I think I'm gonna have you back again. We'll talk more about the Texas Sisters Publishing so we can get the detail out on that one too. So if you don't mind,
Sure, definitely.
I'll set something up and maybe even Lydia might want to join us. You never know what's on her schedule. So, but anyway, any last words you want to give out to our audience today before we run live?
Two things. If you have a holiday story, get in touch with us. We're going to start looking, I believe, in June or July. We're going to launch out the notification of putting a call out for stories. Again, not every story is accepted. We kind of read through them, figure out which ones best fit what we're looking for. The other thing is if you are a writer looking for a publisher, come find us, texassisterspress.com. That's TEXASSISTERSPRESS.com. If you are an author or if you have a passion that you want to share about, again, if you're an author, it cannot be writing, and I will make that very clear. Get a hold of me at cjpetersonwrites@yahoo.com. That's cjpetersonwrites@yahoo.com. If you want to know more about me, you can find me at cjpetersonwrites.com, cjpetersonwrites.com. And Red, thank you so much for having me on today.
Anytime, CJ, anytime at all. Take care. Have a wonderful day.
You too.
Bye.